Sometimes we as model railroaders feel the need to put a ton of different industries on our model railroads so that we can use all sorts of car types. We'll have a warehouse for boxcars, gas dealers for tank cars, mines for hopper cars, the list goes on. However, there are industries that not only give opportunities for multiple car types, but can have a lot of fun switching opportunities as well. Hey everybody, my name's Jimmy. I'm drinking some more of that Aldi brand coffee, and this is Coffee and Trains.
This video is brought to you by Model Railroad Academy. Model Railroad Academy is your online resource for model railroad instructions, ideas, and information, with loads of tutorials and articles for model railroaders of every skill level. One of my favorite videos that I've watched recently is making your own homemade ballast, and it's just a really cool tutorial that shows you how to make custom ballast in case you're doing a prototype that doesn't have a commercially available ballast. Plus, you can find tutorials on everything from bench work to electronics to scenery, all sorts of things there. The first 1,000 people to sign up at the link in the description below will get a full year of premium membership to Model Railroad Academy for $1.49. Offer is valid for new members only.
If you want to tell me what kind of coffee you are drinking and be featured just like these guys right here, you can do that in the comments below, and who knows, you might see your name pop up on an episode of Coffee and Trains. Cheers, guys. We're going to go over 3 types of industrial areas that can add loads of fun to your model railroad and check a lot of boxes at the same time. We'll start with an oldie but a goodie, steel mill. Steel mills are massive facilities that need a lot of materials for production. These include the raw materials like coal, iron, zinc, chromium, and nickel, just to name a few. These all come in various bulk transport cars like covered and open hoppers. They may also transport molten metals in specialized cars and chemicals in tank cars. The mill will also need to deliver its finished steel to customers. This requires flat cars, gondolas, steel coil cars, and other cars can be modified for steel transport such as box cars and open hopper cars. Steel mills are also massive. They take up huge swaths of land and can have multiple tracks going to various spots around the facility. One track could be dropping off coal, one for iron, one for other materials, for the alloy process. Then you have finished product loading tracks. These could be going all around the facility. Plus, facilities this large usually have a switching engine of their own just to handle car placement and storage. And sometimes you'll need to have a small yard for cars waiting to be taken away or unloaded. Steel mills are very active areas for rail traffic, and you could potentially occupy an entire model railroad with one. The second one I actually see modeled often is a paper mill. Paper mills have a lot of similar qualities for model railroads as steel mills, but their raw materials are different, and therefore their car needs are different. You're going to see more covered hopper cars, tank cars, and wood chip hopper cars bringing in the raw wood, chemicals, and other materials to make paper. You'll need to carry things like sodium hydroxide, or caustic soda as it's known, in specialized tank cars, as well as various coring chemicals in tank cars and other chemicals. This means you'll need a dedicated, safe place to unload these chemicals, since they can be hazardous for various reasons. You'll also bring in various solid materials such as kaolin clay for glossy paper and covered hoppers. Wood chips will be brought in covered hoppers or dedicated wood chip hoppers. For outbound cars, they're going to see a lot of box cars for paper products, as well as tank cars and gondolas for byproducts that can be resold. These facilities are often at the same scale as steel mills, if not larger, so you can have a wide variety of track placement. These facilities often have their own locomotives for moving cars as well. They also usually have yards. Paper mills are one of the most versatile single industries you can have on your layout. Next is probably the most flexible and diverse industry you can have on your layout: a seaport. Now, I say sea, but for the people up in Midwest, it can be a Great Lakes port as well. Literally everything can come through a port, which means literally every car type can come in and out of a seaport. You, of course, have your container trains, which are going to and from the port, but also raw materials like fossil fuels, wood, food products. You name it, everything goes through a port. Ports often have their own railroads that work with them, not just a single engine, so you could theoretically build an entire model railroad on the concept of servicing a major port. The option for these are wide open. The only drawback to a port industry on your layout is that it's going to limit the type of scenery you can use, because a seaport Typically, it has to be on a body of water. Therefore, you're probably going to be on a coastline. But other than that, the sky is the limit, or the sea road. Now, these are not the only industries that take various car types or large car volumes, but they are examples of how, rather than focusing on a bunch of small industries, you can do a single large industry that can give you the same amount of fun. Let me know what kind of large industries you have or would like to model on your railroad in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Stu from DIY Digital. Stay safe, be kind, drink some coffee, and happy railroading.